You now.
Okay, question 22 extension. Where the orchards along Grove are right on the corner of 22 and Old McHenry. I know they've done a lot of tree trimming down in Kildare area, and I know they still haven't come across that borderline, so to speak. I did meet through Jeff to help me out, the guy that's in charge of all the tree removal as it goes along. They've actually staked the property along Old McHenry and on 22. We got a pond over there with a retaining wall, and they're 10 feet away from it with their inner stakes. I'm not sure if that's the inside of where they can go up to or how they're going to do it. The gentleman was nice enough to say that he would call me when they actually were going to get started so that they can walk it with me to make sure they're not taking down all those trees along 22. So I'm wondering, has the village gone any further about approving to them to do the work, and where do I go from there in case they just start cutting trees?
Yeah, so first off, we did approve an intergovernmental agreement, which would allow them to cut the trees down, except it has not been executed yet, right? With the state, so.
Right. I mean, we don't actually have any control over IDOT except to the extent that they want to clear properties that the village has rights on. As the village president was just saying, there is an intergovernmental agreement that's been approved. It's awaiting execution that would authorize the clearing on those properties where the village has had a longstanding interest. As to other properties, IDOT has the right to do it if they have the rights from either condemnation or easements or however else they might have gotten it.
Okay. And one more quick question, and I'll chase the guy down that's doing all the tree trimming and see if he'll work with me and try to mark trees accordingly. The other thing is, a while ago, they were talking about an asphalt program for the subdivisions or the private roads that haven't been, or that need to be paved and they're not within the village umbrella. Has that gone any further?
So Vic, where are we at with that?
We have a draft plan that's in the works, and my expectation is that we will have something that's going to be ready for board consideration probably in March.
Well, how does it, do you have any idea how it's going to be distributed? I mean, this house or
Well, the program has to be reviewed and approved by the village board before any of that would happen.
We have money in the budget, but we haven't put a plan forth that's been approved by the board to get it moving. So I'm leaning on Vic over here to get it done.
All right. All right. Thanks a lot. That's
Thank
it.
you. Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for bringing those questions forward. Other public comment? Benjamin Matthews?
My name is Benjamin Matthew from 4369 Oak Leaf and the Oak Leaf Homeowners Association. My first question is to the village manager regarding the question I asked about trash, because I noticed in my area, only one truck is picking up both trash and recycling. Have you gotten any feedback from them on, are they separating trash and recycling, or is it just going to one place? My second issue probably would be related to the village manager too. Now that the village hall is a lot bigger and it's kind of a complex, I believe we probably should have a doorbell or something at the entrance, because there's been times where I've come to village hall and nobody's been up in the front for whatever reason, or at least have a calling bell or something so we can let staff know that we're around. And I would also add that if we drop off any payments or anything, that there should be a system where we can get a receipt when we do that. And finally, my final question is, has there been any updates on the special use application for 4359 Illinois 22? Thank you.
Drew did confirm that they are separating out trash from recycling. I need to follow up on your street in particular if you're repeatedly only seeing one truck going through there. But village-wide, they are separating out trash and recycling. The village hall, we have a new security system installed just recently that does chime when either door are opened. 4359, no update on them yet. And
While getting receipts if you made a.
Receipts, yes. We previously never had like a point of sale system at our old building. Now we have an actual window and the ability to have something like that. So we are looking to add that in.
Thank you. Thanks for those comments. Any other public comment? Okay. Then let's keep ourselves moving here. We'll move to the public safety report. Is it Lieutenant Jacob? Thank you.
Good evening, Lieutenant Jacob Klatka, KLA TKA with the Lake County Sheriff's Office. I'm here on behalf of Sergeant Tom Lex in reference to the public safety aspect of this meeting. In reference to a couple of things that have transpired in the village in the past month. On January 30th, 2026, there was an aggravated assault. That incident involved an individual that walked into the Broken Earth Winery. He was patronizing the business and at some point had a mental health episode or crisis and pulled out a knife and started threatening employees at that business. Subsequently, he left the area and fled the scene. A extensive search for the individual was begun, and we were essentially not able to locate the individual. As of actively currently, there's several charges for this individual for his arrest, a Class A misdemeanor, several counts of aggravated assault, a Class 4 felony for disorderly conduct, and an unlawful use of a weapon, which is a Class 4 felony, specific to that incident. Additionally, there has been extra patrols placed on the business to verify that we secure the business and ensure that this doesn't happen moving forward. There was a crash investigation on Cuba Road in Driftwood. It was a single vehicle accident. It was a major accident. The vehicle struck 3 poles, causing extensive damage, where ComEd had to respond to the scene and repair some electrical wires. That incident is currently under investigation. There's also been a UPenn extra patrol placed on that area to ensure that there's no speeding or we can control traffic movement throughout that area. I know that there have been some complaints that have come in reference to speeding in that particular location. This particular incident was not geared from speeding. It was an individual whose accelerator got stuck upon driving the vehicle and then lost control of the vehicle, which caused that accident to occur. Additionally, our deputies are in that area to ensure that speeding is controlled off of Cuba Road there. And then finally, there was an investigation in reference to the Long Grove Bridge being struck by a larger vehicle. This incident happened on February 3rd, 2026, is currently under investigation, and it's an unfortunate situation that we continue to deal with the bridge. So other than that, any questions? That's mainly what happened within the village within this month.
Thank you for that detailed report. I have a question. Did you say the person that had the mental health crisis at Broken Earth has not been arrested?
He has not been arrested. He's still actively out there. There is several warrants for his arrest for the charges I've stated. At some point, he'll get picked up when law enforcement locates him. This individual particularly has had extensive contact with law enforcement in Cook County and Lake County. At his place of residence, the police continue to have contact with back and forth up until this incident, stemming from essentially a mental health crisis where he's threatened their officers and everything else. So we are aware of his instability, and we are actively working on trying to bring the guy into custody to face charges for that incident.
All right, thank you for that.
So that it wasn't specific to that location. He was just there. He was actually, in fact, patronizing and sampling wine. At which point he just, for an unprovoked reason, he pulled out a knife and started to threaten employees of the business. So there was no rhyme or reason as to why he selected that business. It just happened to be that he was there.
Thankfully, no one got hurt. So
Correct. Nobody was hurt.
yeah, thankfully, no one got hurt. All right, thank you for that report. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Trustee, can you speak into the mic, please?
Oh, put your microphone on, yeah.
So was there a rhyme or a reason from the most recent driver that hit the bridge?
No, just not, it's always the same issue with these individuals. essentially not realizing that there's a height restriction on the bridge for whatever reason, and they strike it every single time when they're operating vehicles that are heavier and larger in size. So
So I'll just say one thing. I so do not appreciate all the calls I get after a bridge strike from all the papers, TV stations and everything else. So I don't mind if you don't say anything. Because I don't really enjoy those calls. In fact, I took one reporter's call and every news station reported on it using the facts that I gave that reporter. So anyways, just thought I'd say that.
Next door is full of suggestions.
I'm sure it is. But the only thing we could do, maybe I'll do a Mayor Daley. One day you're going to come and the bridge is going to be gone. Just mark my words on that one. All right. Thank you for that feedback. I appreciate it. Chief Segala, I see you here. Do you have any comments for us tonight? All right. Thank you for being here. Anyone else have anything? If not, we'll keep us moving. We have approval of the consent agenda. So there's several items on it. One is the bills, January bills, the pay warrant from the 2026. Approval of the minutes from the last board meeting, January 27th. Approval of executive session meeting minutes from that same night of January 27th. And then there's a special event application from the Buffalo Creek Brewery for the Mayfest, German Fest, and Oktoberfest. That's all on the consent agenda. If there's no questions, if somebody wants to make a motion to approve, I would be grateful.
I'll move.
Second.
All right, that was really quick. Moved by Trustee O'Connor, seconded by Trustee Gayton. Roll call, please.
Trustee O'Connor.
Aye.
Trustee Gayton.
Aye.
Trustee Jamil.
Aye.
Trustee Tanucci.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. Moving right along. This is a public hearing to establish a special service area. But there is not necessarily need for a public hearing because the fire department is going to self-fund the water extension, and there's no need for the SSA. But I believe we're still going to open a public hearing up anyways, right?
Correct. This is regarding an extension of the existing village water system to Aptekissick Road so it can serve the fire protection district. With respect to its approval about a year and a half ago, public water was part of the program for that. The village and the fire protection district were exploring various ways of financing it. And that brought us to the special service area. After the proposing ordinance was adopted and the notices were sent out, the fire protection district determined that it would be able to fund the improvement directly without the need for the special service area. So that also obviates the need for the hearing or the establishment of a special service area. Nevertheless, it's probably valuable, since I'm guessing some people may be here for this hearing, to share some information about the extension of the water main and what that could mean. And I'll get it started. Certainly the village engineer, the village manager, and others may have other things to say. But the water system right now has been a groundwater system. This spring, the village will be undertaking a construction project that will take the water from Buffalo Grove, and that will be our new water source. So we will have Lake Michigan water serving the system. It will still be the village's water system. The village will manage it. The village will undertake all of the necessary billing and things like that, but it will be now using Lake Michigan water rather than groundwater. The extension that's programmed for Aptekissick Road will be extending the terminus right now, which is in the Sunset Grove development, taking it across Aptekissick and then bringing it easterly to the Fire Protection District site. What that also means is that it brings it that much closer to Briarcrest. It will not bring it to the Briarcrest subdivisions. It will bring it closer to them, and it will afford an opportunity, if Briarcrest is interested, to ultimately connect to the Lake Michigan water source as well. There has not been any engineering of that extension to Briarcrest, and there have not been any of the details worked out, just a recognition that with the water that much closer, it now becomes a more palpable opportunity for Briarcrest. And as a result, the SSA did contemplate having Briarcrest able to join into that SSA. With the SSA not going forward, that becomes a nullity. But the opportunity to ultimately connect to the Lake Michigan water that the village system will have is something that is probably valuable to know. Again, details have not been worked out. Communications have been preliminary with the leadership of the Briarcrest HOA, and it's something that is subject to further exploration. I don't know if there's anything more to.
That's pretty thorough.
Okay. So we technically have a public hearing if anyone wants to comment, but you'll be doing so with the notion that the SSA is not going to be going forward.
Question. So the
Yes, the intergovernmental agreement with Buffalo Grove was finalized, I want to say,
Like a year ago.
yeah, about a year ago.
Yeah.
Also, the contract for that work was approved probably 2.5, 3 months ago. And that work, I believe, and maybe Jeff can help out, is supposed to start in March or April. And, that means we will soon have Lake Michigan water serving the village water system.
Yeah, correct. The Lake Michigan connection to Buffalo Grove is scheduled to get underway mid to late March. They actually were out there last week and cleared some of the trees, so they're ready to get started as soon as the weather allows. I would add, it's two separate projects, both of these. There'd be two different contractors, so it's two different contracts. So like I said, one's not directly tied to the other for that.
All right, should I officially entertain a motion to open up the public hearing? Somebody like to make a motion? Okay, moved by trustee O'Connor, seconded by trustee Gaten. Now we're in public hearing. Does anyone have any public comment? If you do, please go to the podium.
I heard everybody say aye to that motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I apologize. All in favor? Aye. All right, motion carried. Sorry, I'm just moving us right along. Thank you for that, Vic. If you have any public comment, please go to the podium. Everyone's racing there right now. Jenny Michaud, yes.
Hi, I'm Jenny Michaud. I am a trustee for the Long Grove Fire Protection District, and I wanted to thank you for exploring the SSA option, but we just thought it was more fiscally responsible to take the money out of our bond fund for the referendum and pay for that rather than incur other expenses. So thank you so much for your time and efforts. But we're going to self-fund. So thank you.
Thanks for your comment. Okay, if there's no further comment, we need a motion to close the public hearing. Moved by trustee O'Connor. Seconded by trustee Tanucci. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Any other comments regarding the public waters? The establishment of an SSA? I'm guessing not. So we're going to move on to the next agenda item. And that is ordinance amending the authorized uses in the B1 district to allow distilleries in the B1 historic district. I believe the petitioner would like to start, the petitioner's attorney, Dan Shapiro, would like to start with a presentation, I guess, right? So please take the podium if you would.
It might be worth noting that the text amendment on the distillery is related also to the next item, which would be a request to amend the PUD for the Brothers Field development and granting the SUP for the distillery. So I presume that's what is going to be addressed by Mr. Shapiro.
Yes, and we do have a PowerPoint. Yes.
All right. I guess it's quieting up. So
If you could go to the beginning of that, Chris. There you go.
Couple more, there you go.
Trying to rush you along, so.
Yeah, I got the hints, yes. Good evening, my name is Dan Shapiro. President Jacob and Board, thank you for having us tonight. I'm here on behalf of the applicant where we are seeking actually three things. One is the special use for Brothers Field. Secondly is amendment to the PD. And third is the text amendment, as your attorney just mentioned. I'd like to kind of all put this all together, if I may. And we're very thankful and grateful to the PCZBA for its unanimous recommendation on the 20th. I'm sure you've seen the minutes or the packet. There was considerable discussion about this, and we're very grateful for their consideration. But I think it's also worthwhile for us to go through the PowerPoint to kind of refresh or to answer any questions or to fill in some of the blanks that maybe occurred to you while you're looking through the packet. Let me just say, we were here for final approval of Brothers Field, November of 24. And as you know, Brothers Field is a true asset and a true gem to the village of Long Grove. These requests and the recommendation that comes before you is to make it even better. But the requests that come before you, I would view is important, significant, but not earth-shattering. So let me tell you what I mean by that. The text amendment is to add distillery as a use in your B2, which currently allows as a special use tap rooms combined with breweries or craft brewery. So those elements of what this use would be are already in your zoning ordinance. We're asking for distillery to be part of that definition or part of that use rather. The other thing that we're asking for is for an adjustment of the phasing to allow for certain completions to occur in this project. You may remember that the tan barn, which is going to be the subject of this, was in phase 4. We're now asking for it to be pushed to phase 1 along with the completion of the renovation that's currently ongoing for the Red House. So we're accelerating that. And part of our request is to accelerate that from phase 4, which is a couple of years down the road, to a completion date of September of this year. We originally anticipated and requested May of this year, but because of what could be inclement weather or just unforeseen circumstances, the PCCBA was gracious enough to give us just a little more just in case time for that particular piece, for those two things to be completed. And the third is for the special use, which would be a added use as in the B1 district to be granted for the tan bar. So that's kind of the overview of our request tonight. Go forward. You all are very familiar with this site. Here's the aerial. All right, so again, just basic stuff. We're seeking amendment to the PUD and we're seeking to construct tan barn, finish up the Red House, and move the phasing completion dates, adjust that a little bit. Also within phase 1 is the extension of the utilities, which would service all phases, and that is ongoing. And that is something that I know Jesse and his team are working on diligently, including the build out of the Red House.
Can I interrupt you there? So when you say the utilities, is that water, sewer, electrical? What is it?
Yes, to all three.
Okay. Got it. So the water will be like, well, whatever the water system is when we get there at the time will be extended to throughout the whole property and.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
So again, here are the summary of the key changes that we're seeking. The request for the text amendment, which goes hand in hand with these other requests, adds pretty much distillery into your already defined terms and defined uses rather your existing uses of brewery and tap room in the B1. So I'll get to this in just a moment, but one thing on the prior slide that occurred to me was a question that we had as we were looking at this, as well as a question about the PCCBA. What about traffic? Well, as I will explain, the number of seats that would be here, here at the distillery are significantly less than what was planned for the restaurant, which was the original plan for the Tan Barn. So in terms of cars, users, seats, patrons, that will be less. But also, traffic is not necessarily a bad thing. You want people to come to your downtown. You want people to park in your parking lot, municipal lot. You want this to be an added, I don't want to be presumptuous. One would think you would want this to be added as an additional piece of your downtown entertainment area. So who will be the tenant here in the Tan Barn? Let's go back if I want. Thank you. Spirit Water LLC. It has been in business for quite some time. It seeks to move its operations from Cary, Illinois, here. It's been operating successfully and is finalizing a lease, which would certainly be contingent upon approvals by this board. It will do on-site brewing and distilling to serve the tap room operations. As I mentioned just a minute or two ago, it'll have 30 seats. I believe the restaurant was originally slated for 52 or 56. There will be no food service. There will be compliant restrooms, and you see the anticipated number of patrons. This is a substantially similar typical layout of what this will look like. We haven't gotten this far yet with the Architectural Review Committee, but this is what we hope it will look like. Very attractive interior. All the appropriate licensing through the village, through the state, et cetera, will and must occur for the tap room, distillery, brewery to open. And we will be fully compliant, not only with the licensing, but with the maximum number of gallons of spirits and beer that's permitted by the state for this use. Another question or two involved water usage. It's very limited. The water usage, it's very limited, as well as any waste. The waste will be removed by one of those big bins twice a month. It's very limited amount of waste. The projected annual sales is $3 to $5 million a year. There will be, there was a question about, well, is it going to smell? No, it will not smell. It's going to be built and structured in a way that I'll call it vapor proof, just for the lack of any other nickname, but they will not emit any obnoxious odors. Another question that we had at the PCCBA a couple of weeks ago was retail versus wholesale. This is going to be a primarily retail operation. And that was one of the conditions that was included in your draft ordinance, which we agree with. In order to make sure of that, one of the conditions in the ordinance was the village's right or option to check the books out annually. Absolutely. And I think that's appropriate, and we agree to that, to make sure that that goal is satisfied, and we're true to that. There will be some deliveries. They're not frequent. 2 to 4 distributors. Each distributor will visit about once a week. They're in and out, 10 to 15 minutes. So it's not like there's going to be heavy truck traffic. It's just, I mean, you can do the math. It's not a lot. So what are some of the things that typically a board or commission might be thinking about when it comes to special use are some sort of the consequences or impact, et cetera. Limited truck delivery, infrequent waste removal because we just don't have that much to remove. We're not, this is a relocation of existing successful business, so you know what you're getting. And it fulfills the intent and the spirit of not only a historic district, but of Brothersfield. So that's our presentation. Jesse is here. Tim Kovac is here to answer any questions. Tim is going to be our tenant, and we're here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for that. I don't know if I know the board might have some questions, but Dave, did you want to provide any feedback from the Plan Commission? You may want to, yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dave Perry. I am the most recent addition to the PCZBA. Definitely the least tenured. I didn't prepare any specific remarks for tonight, but I am able to discuss either both two projects on your agenda tonight, being Red Oaks or Meadow Lane at Towners, if you guys would like to hear anything about our discussions or some of the concerns. I think we prepared a brief for you guys in advance, but obviously here for any further discussion. Yes.
What's the duration of the initial lease?
5 years, I believe, right? Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah, I don't have any questions now. I want to compliment the PCBA on how thorough they are. I was actually at that meeting, and I thought you guys did a real good job of flushing out the concerns that was touched on earlier. That the concerns of, I mean, even from smell to, I remember even someone was bringing up with flammability. Right. So there was a lot of there's from traffic to parking, but parking is going to be concerned whether it was a restaurant or distillery. So it doesn't matter what goes in there. Actually, probably be more with the restaurant because there's more seats. But yeah, no, I think you guys did a great job, and so thank you. And thanks to the village staff for putting together a board packet, make us look smart.
I appreciate that. I will say that only being involved now for 6 months, all the projects have been very interesting. The discussions have been, the debate has been quite robust. We've had some contentious projects and we've had some pretty similar ones. And the two on the agenda tonight were both 7-0 in favor of moving forward to you esteemed board members and trustees.
Trustee Tanucci, do you have any questions for the?
Nothing right now, maybe later.
Maybe later. Okay, got it. Anybody else? Otherwise, Trustee Jamil, anything? All right, thank you. I guess then let's turn it over to the board to review and discuss, right? So I don't know who wants to begin.
Yeah, if I could. Well, I just kind of want to just piggyback on what was discussed as far as it's kind of, to me, we want things that are going to increase Long Grove as a destination. And even in the PCBA report, they talk about it too. And they say, so it's on page 44 of our board packet. It says this project aligns with the goals and objectives of the comprehensive plan of 2018, the downtown plan of 2008. And it really is because it's talking about the significance of social gathering places and entertainment venues to strengthen the downtown as a destination. And that's really what we got to look at is what is that doing for Long Grove? Long Grove's got to be a destination. And I think it's awesome if we can have a brewery and a distillery. I mean, we don't have the luxury of a train that stops here and brings people. And I think what invariably happens is the more the better. You look at Arlington Heights and Libertyville. Do you think they tell restaurants like, no, we have too many restaurants, bars? No, it's because they're all different. They bring different clientele. And now someone comes to the distillery and they're getting exposed to the brewery as well as the other restaurants and stores in town. So I think it fits right in what we
what we need here. And the more we fill up downtown, the better. I want to get to the point where we're so filled up, we don't even have to have big festivals to bring people in because they're coming in all the time. So I think it's a good thing.
Thank you for those comments. Trustee Tanucci, anything? Questions, comments?
So I'll just mention, some of you may be familiar with a town in Northwest Illinois called Galena. It's an historic town, has an historic downtown. Actually many parallels with Long Grove. And one of the parallels is the downtown has many restaurants, many drinking establishments, as well as retail. I was just looking up to see what is the #1 destination in downtown Galena, actually in the city as a whole. And it is a distilling company. That's the #1 destination in historic Galena. And they also have a brewery there, as well as several other businesses similar to Long Grove. So I think we have a real life example of a distilling company in an historic town that's now the #1 destination in that town. I think we can take that as encouragement that a distilling company would work in our downtown.
Thank you for those comments. Go this way. Trustee O'Connor?
I think it's great. I'm happy to see 2026 and not 2028 and 2030 anymore. You know, it's like, yes. So thanks. Great. I'm all for it,
Thank you.
provided it tastes good.
Trustee Jamil?
You can speak into the mic, please.
You want to repeat that?
Yeah, I'm okay with
All right, well, I guess if somebody wants to make a motion, then
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to combine the number 10 and 11 because they pretty much go together.
okay, so you're making a motion to approve,
Text amendment and
Text amendment.
SUP.
okay, and this, and the the special use permit, thank you. And that's seconded by trustee Tanucci. And that's a roll call.
Trustee Gayton,
Aye.
trustee Tanucci,
Aye.
trustee Jamil,
Aye.
Hi.
All right, motion carried. We trustee Borowski, who is not able to participate today, has a comment. Can he, can somebody open up his mic?
Be able to unmute Chris.
The motion was carried, by the way. Sorry. Trustee Borowski,
You should be able to unmute.
can you unmute him, or can you unmute him with your,
No, he's a presenter already. He just needs to unmute.
trustee Borowski, or can you unmute?
Yeah, I think I'm there now. Hello. Does that work? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, of course. Very good.
All
Thank
right,
you
the
very
floor
much.
is yours.
Well, I wish it was a moment ago before the vote, but okay, that's fine. I did have a couple of questions. 50,000, I guess I'm still kind of not sure what the number was. I think I read 5,000 and then there was an error written in the narrative. Is it 50,000 gallons of spirits or is it 5,000 gallons?
It was 50,000 gallons distilled and 155,000 gallons of beer.
Okay.
That's
It takes
the limit.
That's the limit. That's the state limit. So that's their state license. They can
Right,
produce more than.
and those are annual limits.
Right.
Per the state licensure.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that. Mr. Google says it takes about 8 to 10 pounds of grain to make 1 gallon of distillate. So doing the math on that, just the spirit side, that's about 500,000 pounds of spent grain. So the comment about like we don't have to haul this stuff away very regularly is a little bit concerning to me. But now that we have another distillery brewery heading our way, maybe it's time for us as a village to take a look at composting all of that spent grain for both facilities as well as any other facilities that we may put into Long Grove. I'm not sure what dispose of means. I hope this stuff is getting composted or used in some kind of animal feed or something like that. But at the very least, we should work towards trying to find a green disposal method instead of just landfilling the byproduct.
Mike, you've had experience with this. Do you want to, can I get you to come to the podium? Would you mind terribly? Thank you. I think we have a resident expert here on this. Name is Mike Marr, owner of the Buffalo Creek Brewery.
Hi, everyone. Mike Marr, Buffalo Creek Brewing. With what we go through every week is somewhere around 8 to 10,000 pounds of grain that is spent grain. We've tried to find farmers. Unfortunately, it comes out of our tanks at roughly 170 degrees. It's hot, it's heavy, it's wet. And we, in order to get it to any of the farmers, like a pig farmer, the ones that can actually use it, like pigs, chickens, cows, you can't feed it to horses because they, as living on a horse farm, I found that they have very sensitive stomachs and can't eat it. But the all the other farms are not close by. And in order to get that to them, by the time it would actually get to them, it would actually spoil and then cause digestive problems with the animals. With it going into the landfill, Waste Management actually loves it because it actually helps compost what it is that we're sending to them. But again, we're sending several tons every month or every week. And with what we do, which is far less than the amount that they're planning on doing, we are filling 2 4-yard dumpsters twice a week. So they're going to need a few more dumpsters.
Hey, Mike, how much beer do you brew a year?
We approximately brew about 2,500 gallons a week.
What is that per year?
120.
About 125. More than that.
So the other number that didn't make sense to me is with 20 to 30 customers on average and making $3 million a year. That means, and I did the math real quick, the average customer there, if they were open 356 days a year, is going to be spending $280 every day. And so if you look at the 2,500 gallons of beer times 52 weeks, we make 130,000 gallons of beer a year.
For that.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
Isn't that because the bulk of it is being sold commercially as opposed to sitting on a bar stool?
No, I don't think, well, that's a great question. So it's a combo. It's a combo, right? Yeah. And I don't know, Mike, that's a confidential thing probably too. How much do you sell in your brewery versus in your taste room? Wholesale. To the tap room, yeah.
This would be the opposite of that.
Well, I don't know. We don't know yet, right? So.
Right.
And I would imagine that the licensing is similar or different than yours. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Hey, the last comment I wanted to make, and well, a couple of comments. I mean, 30 seats doesn't seem like 30 seats are going to buy 50,000 gallons of distillate, but okay. The other comment I had, I was thinking about, a lot of the space in downtown is so limited and so precious and so valuable. Very many times you see a distillery or a brew house in an area that maybe isn't dead center downtown. I know they exist as well, of course, but I'm thinking about like Tight Head up in Mundelein that had the warehouse space kind of on the edge of town by the tracks over there. And I think that distillery brew house model in a warehouse or big space works as well. So I wonder why we're just limiting it to downtown. Why not take a broader look and see where else something like this could go within the village? Like what would happen if Cutler's moved out of 83 or something like that? We have big building with available space. So anyway, that was just my last comment. I don't know why necessarily we're limiting it to 1 acre lot sizes. I think that was in the narrative. Maybe I read it wrong. But I also wonder if it makes sense to kind of, go with a broader brush stroke and see where else something like this might work.
Hey, Vic, can you help me with this answer? Because I think the thing is by being very specific, then we remain in total control of what can be done in our village. That doesn't mean that somebody can't come forward with a proposal for something like that.
I think that's reflective of I'll call it our zoning philosophy. When we do have a unique use, we try to keep it confined to the specific location where it's going to go. And if there's alternative requests, that will come back to you and you can make that discrete decision rather than opening the door broadly and then finding it showing up where you weren't expecting. So this gives us a little more control over the overall location of facilities. It's not necessarily a limitation ultimately, but it is a limitation on a step-by-step basis. So again, if somebody were to want to locate it, say in the B2 district, they could come back to the board, much as we're getting a request here for the B1 district.
Thank you.
I'll just observe that there's a large vacant restaurant at 83 in Gilmer. Right now, they closed January 1st.
Right.
Yep, and George decided to do that, and it's a shame. So we're gonna have to fill that one up. So
I think too, though, from ownership's perspective, they're not serving food. So it's nice to be close to other places that are serving food. People hang around a little longer.
well, they will have a restaurant too in the red building. So
Well, you have to walk there.
yeah, I'm assuming they
But
can walk.
it's closer, it's closer than
Oh,
being
got it.
further north on 83.
Got it. All right, thank you. Thank you. All right, so moving right along, waiver of the waiting period for demolition permit. If you may recall, on the January 13th meeting, the board approved an ordinance to grant a side yard variance at property located at 7009 West Meadow Lane in the subdivision known as the Towner subdivision. And so this now is, in order to do the building, the garage has to be torn down. So they're asking for a waiver of what is it? Is it 120 days? Yeah, 120-day waiting period to take the garage down. And since we already approved it, I would assume the board would be okay with waiving the waiting period.
Yeah, I would say it makes sense. And I mean, as a board here too, we're supposed to help support our residents and not make it more difficult for them to, so I think we already approved the new garage. So I think, moving up the waiting period makes complete sense. So
Yep, I agree.
That a motion and second?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion. Yes, I'll make a motion.
Okay, moved by trustee Gaten, seconded by trustee Tanucci. Roll call, please.
Trustee Gaten,
Aye.
trustee Tanucci,
Aye.
trustee Jamil,
Aye.
trustee O'Connor.
All right, motion carried. There is, back before us, at that same meeting, there was discussion about changing the village code. Well, you know what, I'll let you introduce it. Chris, why don't you just go ahead and take this away, right? We ended up kind of taking it back because we wanted to all the yards are not standard long grove yards. So we were everything has to come through before the board and before the plan commission in order to make any additions or changes to the property. So you were going to look at alternatives to what was proposed. And you're coming back with what?
Yeah, so the original annexation agreement called for 13-foot side yard and rear setbacks. And when the annexation agreement expired, it defaulted to our standard zoning code, which is I think, 40 feet setbacks. And then the board at the 2 meetings ago had asked about other options. We looked at it, we looked at the history. There hasn't been any applications for demolition to build new large single-family homes on the property. All the permits that we've received have been for accessory structures, primarily garages. And additionally, there are other limiting factors on the properties with septic fields, and they have a community well, so water lines going into each house. And additional restrictions with floor area requirements and height restrictions. So we didn't see an issue or a problem because we haven't had any yet of, large single family homes, which was, I think, the comments previously expressed by the board. And also our zoning code is already pretty complex. So adding additional requirements, I think would be more confusing for people and more confusing for staff and our consultants to review and keep track of. So we're recommending the 13-foot setbacks matching the original annexation agreement or just defaulting to our standard zoning.
Trustee Borowski, do you want to make any comments since you had the biggest concerns here?
Actually, I'm a little bit stunned by that. So what we're really saying is, leave it alone. I guess I don't know what that means. I still think that's I think that's trouble.
I think what village staff was saying, just leave it the way it is. Otherwise, it just gets too difficult to. I mean, Vicky, you can probably comment on it. You probably looked at some different scenarios, right?
Yeah, I mean, there are certainly other techniques available to ensure that it doesn't become overbuilt in the area. But one of the things that's noticeable is the lots in this particular subdivision are very narrow and very deep, which doesn't really lend itself to the type of very large homes that you might otherwise see. That's not to say that there might not be a new conception of design that starts resulting in the very big buildings. If so, there's nothing that would prevent the village from coming back and revisiting it. But our planning consultant, Karen Stonehouse, who is on the meeting remotely, went through and reviewed the subdivision and its development patterns. And I think that from her analysis, she didn't think that adding other bells and whistles would really make much difference given the nature of the lots and the historic pattern of development. So maybe Karen has something more to add.
Look like a ghost in the screen here.
I do. I'm not a ghost.
Green screen.
Well, this.
Are you really there?
I'm really here.
Okay,
I'm
good.
really here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
The 13-foot side yard setback for towners has been back in force for almost 20 years. And we have not seen any applications for, oversized single family homes. It's all of the applications that we have seen come through the village are just because people don't have room to do a small home expansion or build a new garage. They may have had a garage that was non-conforming in the setback prior to that. So I wouldn't anticipate any issues when we haven't seen any problems in the last 20 years. Furthermore, the setback that would be created, 13 feet on any side yard of any lot would allow for a 26-foot separation distance between structures, which we don't feel would create any sort of, sunlight or crowding issue whatsoever. And this subdivision, it didn't it didn't grow up in Long Grove. It didn't ever dream of being in Long Grove. And we're just trying to, I think, codify regulations that makes sense for this particular area, and don't try to change it. 40-foot setbacks, side yard setbacks, just plain do not work for this area, and 13 feet has been working fine.
Any comments from the board?
My comment is thank you to Karen. Excuse me. I think you did a great job putting the packets together for us inside our packet. So thanks for that.
Thank you.
Any objections? I guess I'll just, Trustee Gayton, are you okay with proceeding?
Yes.
Trustee Tanucci?
No concerns.
Okay. Trustee O'Connor?
Yes, I'm good with it.
Trustee Jamil? Okay, well, somebody want to make a motion then?
So moved.
Moved by Trustee O'Connor, seconded by Trustee Gayton. Roll call, please.
Trustee O'Connor,
Aye.
trustee Gayton,
Aye.
trustee Jamil,
Aye.
trustee Tanucci,
Aye.
A motion carried. All right, village engineers report.
Okay, the engineer's report is in the board packet. A couple highlights tonight. I will start with one that's not on the engineering report, but
Are you
just
allowed to
bring
do
up.
that?
I'm going to try tonight.
Oh, okay,
See
go
what
ahead.
happens. So ComEd is going to be doing their annual tree trimming program, and it's going to start on Monday on Old Route 53. The village forester met with them earlier today just to give them the straight and narrow of Long Grove's requirements, and specifically in regards to protected trees. The good news is the village forester has worked with the superintendent from Esplund that's going to be doing the tree trimming. So it was a very good conversation. Like I said, the work is going to start on Monday and it's going to last about 7 to 10 days. And then after they finish on Old 53, they are going to move to Old Hicks, Checker. There's a section of Route 83 between 53 and Aptekissick that they've got a little trimming to do. Aptekissick itself, and then within the subdivision of Mardan Woods and Mardan Estates. So Monday on Old 53, look for some vehicles out there.
Hey, Jeff, really quick.
Yeah.
Also with our forester, he is scheduled to be on site observing these conditions of the tree trimming twice per day while they're in town. We've done that in the past, and we just want to make sure that we're paying close attention to this to make sure they're doing their job.
Yeah, well, it always looks like they chewed the branches off instead of cutting them off. It's like, what happened here? Of course, yeah.
So former trustee George Yeager asked if it'll impact traffic while they're doing the tree trimming. Does anyone know?
Weather dependent, if they have, or crew dependent, if they have 5 trucks, they'll have a flagger out there. If they only have 3, they'll be off enough where people can.
So since you and I talked about this today briefly or via email, they do this like almost every year, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So what's the chances that it's going to be severe? I mean, can anyone answer that? As far as the trimming?
Oh, give it a big ComEd treatment, if you will. I haven't driven on there, but I tend to agree with you that they're doing it every year, so should avoid, that type of situation. So.
And it's going to be a lot of the underbrush probably with their Trustee Borowski's favorite weed, buckthorn maybe? Okay.
And the
what?
and the teasel.
And the teasel, but yeah, but that's not causing problems with the
Maybe they
electrical
could throw
lines.
some
Yeah,
poison down.
all right. Okay, thank you for that. Any concerns on it?
No, George is right. I think we traversed the same Old 53 And it's always a nightmare when they're out there because they take up, it ends up being pretty much one-way traffic.
Got it. And they'll do it right in the middle of rush hour, right? So of course.
It will only
They
be one.
kind of do it all day long, 7 to 3 or something.
Okay, got it. All right. All right, keep us
Okay,
moving.
moving right along, just
Oh, go ahead,
to,
something else?
No, I was just gonna say, it was brought up earlier, Killdeer has been denuded. It's, it's incredible how much more land there is, because they've cut everything down from Quentin toward, I think they're as far as Kemper now. No, and it's, I guess we're gonna look like that too.
maybe a little bit, correct. Hey, that kind of reminds me of another discussion I've been having. In Killdeer, they trimmed all the trees, and there's different residents that are concerned about the noise from the Route 22 expansion. And I did track down the noise analysis from IDOT. They looked at the entire corridor and determined that noise walls were not required either in Killdeer or Long Grove. And it's primarily due to the distance between the edge of the road and the house. There's a lot of large lots along Route 22, so that's was the primary driver for that. So I know that came up on the Aptekissick Road project, so I wanted to pass along that info. So thanks for the prompt on that. Tree clearing, as I mentioned earlier, for the water main project that was done last week. So that's kind of paving the way for them to start their work as soon as the weather allows. The 2026 road program, number 2 on the list, we've got that well underway and ready to go. Just wanted to bring the board up to speed. Typically, Ela Township and Killdeer join the village in a cooperative and joint road program. This year, the village of Killdeer is expending resources in other areas, so they won't be joining the village in an annual road program. And we are still awaiting the final decisions as far as roads and funding from Ela Township. So the engineer's report anticipates bidding in early March, but that may slide a little bit. I should know more here in the next couple weeks on that. Jumping down a little bit, just to kind of highlight a couple of the permit projects we got going. The village did receive updated plans for Karen's Corner last week as far as the engineering plans. So those are going to be under review. Everything's kind of a staff level reapproval of that since watershed development ordinance has changed and things like that. I do know that was at the architectural committee meeting last night. I wasn't there, so I can't opine on what was the subject of that, but there is some movement over there.
Does that come back before the board?
No, unless there's a.
Depends on the extent of changes. Sorry. It depends on the extent of changes from the previously approved plans.
Okay. Even though they didn't build in a time period, they're still allowed to.
We have an annexation agreement with them that gave them that right. So and you may remember.
Oh, I remember that.
I want to say it was in December. I want to say December. I want to say in December of 24, maybe it was a little bit later.
Yeah.
The issue came up regarding the sewer.
Right.
That was going in on Deer Trail.
Yep.
So that did engage their approval, but it depends on how much they're varying from it.
Well, no, and in the Bills report, there was a recapture fee paid to Menards by the, what is it, the Long Grove
Country House.
Country House, yeah. So I noticed that, yeah, it was the Long Grove Country School recapture, so, yes.
And contribution to a traffic light was in that agreement. At Checker Annual 53,
Yeah.
that it become killer intersection.
And Mike DeMar was playing his best Columbo imitation during that series of meetings. So just one more thing. You recall?
I don't remember that part.
Oh, I do. You were part of those, right? in the audience at the time. Yeah, so I do. I remember it. So, all right, good. So that's
Oh, Mike DeMar. I was thinking Mike DeMar. Yeah.
DeMar, right? Mike DeMar.
Now I
Remember?
remember.
Oh, yeah. Remember? There's one more thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And so there's probably a good thing we don't have to go through it again. All right, keep us going.
And then just the last update, at the last board meeting, I mentioned CL and the native landscape restoration over there. And they were going to get us information on what they're going to do for 2026. They played a little phone tag from what I understand with McGinty, but they've re-engaged the conversations with them and they're getting their proposal together and things like that. The last time Manager Sparkman and I met with the representatives from CL, we did specifically ask kind of what the plan of attack was for the years it relates to a burn, and McGinty has come back and opine that a burn is not needed. They're going to take care of the stewardship through herbicide treatments and the like. So more information will follow, but that is what McGinty had indicated to them.
Did they pass that by our forester by any chance?
What's that?
They passed it by our forester.
We haven't gotten the proposal from McGinty yet of what they plan to do. All I know is they are not going to include a burn, and I wanted to pass that along since that's been a topic of conversation. So as soon as we do get that proposal from McGinty, we're happy to share that with Urban Forest Management to see what they have to say on that, and then.
That's very surprising.
So I've seen it successful before, so I am interested in seeing that.
Where?
McGinty does a lot of the native area maintenance for the village of Killdeer.
Mhm.
So they've had that, and then Killdeer kind of had a similar-ish situation where they had a large detention basin that was a wetland planting basin, excuse me. And probably for about 20, 25 years, they didn't realize that they owned that. So they had to play catch up on that as well. And McGinty didn't burn that one either.
Anything else?
I wish when Jenny was here and her husband, we could have. No, be quiet.
Oh, no, I wasn't asking. I was, Jeff, I'm sorry. Did you have something else? I apologize. No? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's, no, it's.
Okay, wasn't trying to.
I have a question for Jeff.
Yep.
I sent the email just this morning, so you may not have seen it, but regarding the potholes at the northwest corner of Robert Parker Coffin and 83, and an even worse one at the northwest corner of 53 and 83. It's on the concrete, so I presume that's IDOT property. Could you possibly work with them and ask them to do something about those? They're getting bigger and deeper.
Yes, certainly can. Yes, the concrete is 99% IDOTs. Likely, I'll take a look and just confirm that. I did see your email. I didn't have an opportunity to reach out to IDOT today, but I will.
Thank you.
Ultimately, replace for the South 15, at least the 153 and 83 intersection, right?
Yeah, that'll get totally kind of reconstructed, if you will, with that project, but that is probably a couple years away.
That definitely cannot
Correct.
wait for the reconstruction. Okay.
I'll reach out to IDOT on that and provide an update as I get it. So unless there's any other questions, end of report for me.
All right, thank you for that report. It's very inspiring. We're going to move to the village president and trustee reports. I'm not going to have a report tonight. Trustee Browski, you're here remotely. Do you have a report?
Just a comment. I did click on the link that was provided to us on the agenda, and it actually took you back to the old January meeting link. So again, if staff can just, maybe perhaps it was operator error, but if staff can just reconfirm that the links provided are actually for the correct meeting going forward, it'd probably be beneficial. Other than that, thank you very much. No report.
Thank you. Thank you. Trustee Gayton.
Just this past weekend, on Saturday, there was a good community event put on by the HDLGBA. It was Cocoa Crawl. And that's where they give out free cocoa, so 6 stations, free carriage rides, and that was nonstop. And then the fire department showed up with a fire truck for the kids. So it's a great community event. Probably 3,000 to 3,500 people showed up. And we always have this, there's always this redemption. So a cocoa mug, if you spend $100 in town, we could say that it was $4,000 more than was last year. So it's keeping traction and actually increasing. So it's a great event. It's a free event, and it gets people in town and gets people shopping is what we want. So.
Would you say that's a lot of mugs?
Yeah, it was a lot of mugs.
All right, cool.
So,
Thank you.
good.
Good. Yeah, I heard, I went to the brewery that night for dinner and, I heard good things about it, from Jeff from Paz Candy, right? So.
Yeah, they made a kill. Yeah, all the
said he had
stores
a
did
great
really
day.
well. They really, so, that's what we're trying, what the main goal is to try to help the stores with sales.
Yeah.
And I love these small free events that are community driven that get people to see our town and.
Yep, he was looking tired, so. Anything else?
Nope. And report.
Trustee Jamil?
I have a comment. Last time I made that proposal to put a signage over there. The new kind of a village of Long Grove, so at least it should be lighted at the entrance. So small. Last time I also made a proposal to see if that can be done. Entrance.
Yeah, Jeff and I can look into that and offer a proposal for the upcoming budget year. We're looking at new entryway signage in the village as a whole. So, in line with that.
All right, thank you. Thanks for that. Trustee O'Connor,
No report.
you winked at me though. Trustee Tanucci,
Nothing to report.
all right, Village Manager Sparkman, aren't you trying to plan a budget meeting, a workshop?
Oh, yes.
Make sure you get
You're
a,
gonna get a poll by email. But we're looking at March 14th or 21st. It's for a Saturday workshop. With breakfast, no lobster though.
That is mad. I might be sick.
Gotta get fed.
You might be.
Right.
Think of the size of the screen.
Right.
If you stick through, we can stay after.
All right, I'm holding.
We do have to have the budget.
I like the split screen. We could have all games.
The budget has to be adopted the first meeting of April this year. President Jacobs will be traveling for the second meeting with his date.
it would be great to adopt it in that first meeting, so we can. If not. All right, so you'll be getting a,
We'll send a poll. You can send your availability and we'll pick the day that works best for everyone.
okay,
Those
Is this a morning meeting?
morning.
Half day?
Half day, yeah.
all right, anything else?
That's it.
All right, no need to go into executive session tonight. There's nothing new. So we need a motion to adjourn. Seconded by trustee Gaten.
Second, yeah.
All in favor? Adjourn. Good night, everyone.
Night.
Night, everyone.
Well,